Today's segment of Sound Balming is brought to you by Jimmy and Mary's Authentic Body Care. I cannot express to you how much we love their products. Although we use them all year, as the weather gets colder, we need these products even more. The dreaded drop in temperature, the dryness, the itchiness, and the unnecessary flakiness is inevitable. Shea Butter from Jimmy and Mary's Authentic Body Care is the only thing that works for my skin and hair needs. Not only do these products cure my dry skin, the whipped butter goes on smoothly and doesn't leave that uncomfortably thick, sticky residue. Bonus? It smells absolutely amazing. There are so many different scents to choose from too. Not only do they carry skincare products, there are products for authentic living, face, shower, hair and beard, spritzers and perfumes, and bath products. Let me tell you, we cannot even keep the stuff in the studio. The entire production team as well as all our children use Jimmy and Mary's product. Jimmy and Mary's take pride in creating quality, handcrafted products from simple ingredients for the entire family. Their products are made for all skin types and are 100% handmade, 100% vegan, and 100% cruelty-free. Skincare is important. Moisture is key, and keeping our skin and hair hydrated is essential. I cannot emphasize how much we trust Jimmy and Mary's for all of our skincare needs. Hurry on up to jimmyandmarys.com and check out their products. Did I mention service is fast and efficient too? Don't forget to mention that you heard about Jimmy and Mary's Authentic Skincare on Sound Balming. Use the discount code SOUNDBALM20 to get 15% off. That's SOUNDBALM20 for 15% off at Jimmy and Mary's Authentic Skincare.
Hey everybody, welcome to Sound Bombing. I created this show for people who want to experience a radical, life-changing journey through the sounds of my diverse guests. I hope that each sound you hear on this show will strengthen your faith, encourage your dreams, and challenge you to awaken the greatness within you.
Drop the bombs. Drop the bomb. We're gonna drop the bomb. Drop the bomb. We're gonna drop the bomb. Drop the bomb. We come to drop the bomb. Drop the bomb.
This is a journey into sound. A journey which along the way will bring to you new color, new dimension, new values, and a new experience.
LaMarr Alix Spiegel.
3, 2, 1. Welcome. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to my show. I am Dr. LaMarr Alix Spiegel, the creator of Sound Bombing. And my goal with this show is to introduce you to people with ideas that will help you unlock your full potential. Just like our last guest, Case Kenny, from the great city of Chicago, my hometown, who talked about his podcast, who talked about mindfulness and meditation. And my man, Case Kenny, is a lover of house music like me, but I love how he infused house music with meditation and mindfulness. And so what this show is about. So thank you. Stop right where you are. Pull over if you're driving, because this is going to be one of the best hours of your life. And I'm bold to say it, not because of me, but because you see that great person sitting right next to me in the bomb shelter. So if you're new to the show, yay, welcome to the building. If you're an old head, if you're an old bomber, you know what we do. We are about to do our 3 breaths. And we always start with our 3 breaths because that actually creates the foundation for the show today. So I want to challenge you all to, if you want to take your shoes off, of course, if you're driving, please don't do this. I don't want you to get pulled over. If you're sitting in your home, take your shoes off. For my new people, don't get nervous. We're not going to shake you down for some coins or anything. But this is our mindfulness and our meditation practice. So I want you to put your feet on the floor. If you're in a chair, put your back up against a chair. And I also want my guest, who I'm going to introduce slowly, shortly to join us as well. Palms on your lap, and your palms are facing up in the position of receiving, because we're going to receive some good blessings. Our time is to raise our chakra, our chi, our energy up doing this. So we're going to inhale through our nose 3 times, 3, 5, and then 10. So relax your face, relax your body. Everything is soft. So we're going to inhale. Hold it for 3 seconds. Exhale. Now we're going to go a little deeper. Inhale 5 seconds. Hold it. Exhale. Now we're going to go a little deeper. I want you to dig really, really deep. Inhale for 10 seconds. Inhale. Hold it. Let it go. What is that called? That is called the breath of life. Thank you for joining me. I hope that you're in a safe place. Hope you're healthy, hope you are whole. But just sit back and relax. Turn your speakers up because I got a powerful show for you today. One of my favorite authors, Viktor E. Frankl, says, life ultimately means taking the responsibility to find the right answer to its problems and to fulfill the task which is constantly set for each individual. As humans, we love to be happy, but we should be searching for joy because happy is temporary, but joy is forever. Yet at the same time, we are constantly tuned into the negative around us, so it can be hard to keep a smile on it. But if we can break away from our cycles of cynicism and doubt and look at all the good around us for even a moment, we'll find that we have more than enough inspiration and creativity to focus on living better, more positive life. So how do we do that? I'm so glad that you asked me, because our next guest, Dominique Brighton, or Dome, will talk to us about how we can change our mindsets to embrace optimism and train our minds to focus and reveal in all the good that's around us. Only then can we begin to make room in our lives for a positive growth mindset, which will then create a whole new world opportunities and magic for you to discover. Dome is whether it's reading books on leadership or handling books out at his library, is always looking for the next great opportunity. Since his youth, Dominique has had the tendency of a leader. He's been following the latest and greatest figures in society and seeks to gain the skills and mindset of those who go the furthest. He's a certified coach and speaker of the John Maxwell Team. As an active member of Toastmasters International, he was the youngest area director in Region 7 at the age of 23. 23. Under his leadership, Dominique's area became distinguished. He became distinguished for the 2015-2016 year on the platform he actively engages in with his audience and inspires them of great laughter. Because of his love for reading, he's published his book titled Going North, Tips and Techniques to Advance Yourself. The follow-up best-selling book titled Stay the Course, The Elite Performer's 7 Secrets to Sustainable Success, contributing author for the upcoming book, Crappy to Be Happy, Sacred Stories of Transformational Joy this fall. I would like to welcome to the bomb shelter. The bomb shelter, he is in the building. Put your hands together for Dominique Brightmon. Welcome to the show.
Woo! Feels good to be in, baby.
Feels good to be alive. Thanks for joining. Now, you got to let our listeners know where you're calling in from and how are you doing. I always like to check in with people just to see how they're doing, because we do have a pandemic. And if you went to the Rose Garden at the White House, you probably have COVID, and I'm hoping that you don't. So please let us know how you're doing.
My man, Dr. LaMarr, thanks a bunch, man. Love the introduction. I'm calling in from the land of charm, crime, and crab cakes, Baltimore, Maryland.
Okay.
So close to the Rose Garden, but not too close for obvious reasons.
And so how you doing?
Man, I'm doing good. It's Monday at the time we're recording this, so TGIM, as we'd like to say, or Happy New Week for some people, since that goes down a lot easier than Happy Monday. They're like, oh, God, why'd your mom miss Monday? So it's like, all right, Happy New Week.
I love it. I love your enthusiasm. I love your background. I love that energy. I love the rays that are coming out, man. Before we get down to business, were you always a motivated child? Like, did you always have this happy-go-lucky personality? If not, where did this come from? Because I know you are a beast when it comes to speaking. I got a chance to look at some of the clips that were sent to me from my great super duper producer. But before all the fame, fashion, and the books, talk to me about the young Dome.
Sure thing. So this wasn't always there, of course. Yeah, child energy is always great, but it's not always there because I'm still an introvert nowadays, but that isn't really where you should really lay your hat. Like you should always grow and become better than before. Because when I was a little kid, I was usually mostly in the church if it wasn't in school or outside playing or inside playing video games or whatever. And really it stemmed from, or should I say it unleashed after I turned 21. And it was because I received one of the greatest gifts in my life, and that was a car accident, to be honest. And that was just one of the three-prong attack from 2012 where people thought the world was going to end back in 2012, when all that really happened is that we lost Twinkies for a month and a few folks had paradigm shifts in their life. And that paradigm shift year for growth for me helped me to really unleash that inner energy that I possess thanks to the spiritual aspect as well as the mental aspect, and doing some physical things as well, like CrossFit, kickboxing, and things like that. And just really just keeping the body forward and keeping my focus forward as opposed to backward, unless I'm reflecting on something in the past to bring me to the present. So that's really where it came from, a nice paradigm shift moment to really unleash that inner desire for growth, for change, and to become better and not butter.
So I know in your work, you help people go from this paradigm shift from an area of tragedy to triumph. Walk us through what that's like. You know, I'm not feeling good today. My listeners not feeling good today. You know, we have so much going on in the world, from COVID to poverty to racial injustices across the country to, I don't know if the Ravens lost to maybe the Ravens losing or winning. I'm not sure. It's a whole bunch of tragedies going on in the world. How do you then help people go from this tragic moment to then triumph? Because I hear you talking about a paradigm shift, and I don't know if my listeners really understand what that means, not just from you, but in their own personal lives.
Yes. So the paradigm shift is basically where you basically make a direct change into a different direction, something that's so much of a change, kind of like an earthquake where the earth plates are shifting, the tectonic plates of the earth are shifting, where you yourself have to shift with those plates into a different direction. So there may be place in your life, like with the racial tension that's been going on for hundreds of years, to be honest, especially with folks in our community, the chocolate community, the Black community, for years on end, and having to create something of ourselves and really tap into our inner gifts, what we really possess, to all the way just from regular every day-to-day stuff like trying to work from home if you have kids or whatever. So usually with working with people, I usually like to listen first, because transformation happens when you start listening to people, because leaders are listeners. And if you listen first, you get an idea of where people are coming from. And when you get that idea, then you get to find out and position the way things are going. Like a buddy of mine a couple weeks ago, he was trying to talk to this girl at this donut shop. And I'm like, oh, okay, that's cool and all. But it's like, sometimes it may not be okay to flirt with some folks and still doing the job, especially now during COVID, where the mask could be hiding some missing teeth nowadays. So make sure.
So you got to ask her, hold her breath in and just pull the mask up and then put it down really quickly.
Yeah, exactly. Like that's one of the times she could show the more metaphorical bloomers in this case. In this case, the sound bloomers.
Wow. So how does a person so young have such a positive mental attitude, and you represent a group of young people that a lot of people are somewhat confused about, these quote unquote millennials? Why should I be open to receiving something from a person that is so young like you, who I may say, or my listeners may say, you don't have enough life experiences, Dominique, to even share with me what's really going on in the world? How do you respond to something like that?
When you asked that question, I thought of this Paul Mooney quote where he mentions how I may have been born yesterday, but I stayed up all night. So I basically stayed up all night metaphorically because my parents, they were basically senior citizens when I came around. And I read a bunch of books to really add to my life and grow as I go. And not to mention 2012, in addition to the car accident, I had to start taking care of my father who had Alzheimer's. And for those 6 years of being one of the co-caregivers along with my older brother and my mother, before his utter demise, sadly, in 2017.
Sorry.
Like
man.
life still happened. Yeah, thanks a bunch, man. And like really, like life has happened. Like life happens to all of us, and I tend to listen. So usually, basically listening to those who are ahead of me. So that way, as I'm moving ahead, I can actually apply what they learned because it's basically borrowing experience. Because if you can borrow experience from someone else, live it out for yourself, and then find out the kinks of that knowledge and wisdom you got from someone else and polish it, then you'll have a new tool to use for yourself. And that's really a place I'm coming from, a person who actually listens to people and takes their advice, even though sometimes it may appear, especially back in grade school, where some of the teachers thought I was daydreaming, looking outside the window when I was really hearing what they were saying. I may have not looked it, but I was actually paying attention. And when you pay attention, you eventually get paid.
Yeah, you definitely, when you pay attention, you definitely get paid. Well, speaking of getting paid, what are some keys to being an elite performer, an elite speaker? And then sort of walk us through that process of preparing for a time where you're about to step onto the stage. You have to motivate and wow some individuals, because I do have some folks that are on here who want to become speakers, or some people who are just into great speakers. What are some of the keys to being an elite speaker? And then how do you prepare for a time when you're about to stand on stage to talk to thousands of people that you typically do?
Sure thing. So one of those keys, and it's a elite performance key, and that'll be mental awareness. Mental awareness. So not Massachusetts, MA, it's actually mental awareness. Yep. You basically got to make sure that you're mentally ready to take on the project that you're about to take on and be ready to adapt when adversity comes, because especially before getting on stage, if I'm not a little nervous in terms of excited before I get up on stage, then that's a bad sign that I'm too darn cocky and I'm going in half cocked and I'm probably going to suck really bad, because that happened to me before, where I went in cocky and there's no nervous energy and I sucked bad. Like one of the 6 kids in 6th grade was dead tired. His head was on the table, head was down after I was done talking. I'm like, darn it. And the meal I ate beforehand after breakfast didn't help either, because there was a lot of food. So making sure that you're mentally aware, making sure that you're mentally prepared. One of those things, especially what I love, what you start with the show, a nice little deep meditation for a short minute. And the good news about that, you don't need to have an orange robe and a bald head to do it. You can do it right where you are. Like folks may be listening in their cars. They may have done that before they got to this point in the episode. And just making sure, doing things like that, making sure you're mentally aware, and just making sure you always take notice of how you improve and trying to get at least 1% better than what you were before. And one of those things is by recording your presentations. Heck, even recording your practices before you give the presentation and listening back to some of your old presentations, and heck, even taking notes of, hey, I said that thing, that's it, that was good. This didn't fit as well as I thought it may have, but someone was still inspired by it. Because really, one of the biggest things about getting your mind right is also making sure you're ready for something, but also being ready for what happens after the moment you're getting ready for happens. So reflection, because you have to prepare for your day, then you take action during your day, and then you have to reflect during your day. And one of the biggest things to get your mind right for that thing is to ask yourself, what good will I do today? What good will I do today? Or what good can I do today? Can I share a smile with someone? Okay, in this case, it's a smize if you're wearing a mask like you're supposed to try to protect your fellow human during this whole COVID nonsense going around. Are you actually introducing someone to someone else that they may know? So like a buddy of mine, he actually lost a job recently, and because his contract was cut for his company, and he asked me, it's like, hey, do you know somebody in the banking industry or someone like that? And I didn't immediately know somebody at that time, but I was able to point out to someone else who may know more people than me in different areas in the actual state that can get him a part-time job, because this is the era where you really have to help other people. And this is where relationships matter, because there's mental awareness, and then that led to connection awareness, connecting that brother with someone else who may know more people than me in the areas that he's looking for, because we don't have all the answers. I don't have all the answers. I can read every single book on the planet, which is darn near impossible, because I'll be dead before that happens, because folks are publishing books like crazy. And getting people to the other people that know how to connect you with the resources you need will always pay off. And it'll both of you look better in the process. It'll make you look good, because you're being honest, you're being truly authentic with someone, you're being honest with someone, genuine with someone, saying, hey, I don't know, but I can find the answer for you. I can find someone for you to get you to that answer. And if they get the answer from someone else, then that'll make them feel good because they help someone else. So it's kind of like a chain of helping, a helping chain in a way to really get things going.
Dominique, how do you go from being an introvert, being a kid who daydreamed in class, to being a top speaker on the circuit, being one of the youngest in Toastmasters? How do you go from that? Because I heard you say that you're an introvert. And then what advice do you have for an introvert who wants to be more confident? Just right before I interviewed you, I interviewed a gentleman from Chicago, Case Kelly, and he talked about confidence, because not saying that introverts don't have confidence, but as I'm listening to you speak, you have a great speaking voice. But I heard you say that you were an introvert. And then so how do you go from being, a kid who was introverted, kid who was quiet, to be one of the top young speakers in Toastmasters? And what advice do you have for a person who is an introvert and lacks confidence and want to step onto the stage to do what you're doing, to do what I'm doing, but to do it effectively and to leave an impact?
Sure thing. So I'd have to say join Toastmasters would be the first thing I would tell people. And there are clubs that are meeting virtually now during the pandemic. So growth is still happening. And you may not get the same amount of adrenaline as being on a physical stage in front of a bunch of people, but you can at least still supplement your action with something, because I like to call Toastmasters a leadership laboratory where you get to do low impact networking with other people if you actually get in there to do it. And come from a place of service, because if you're interested in others first, then they will see you as interesting. And then the more they share, the more you listen and take mental notes of things that really stick out to you. It's like, hey, oh, this person likes strawberries and apples. All right, that's cool. Oh, they may be a Toastmaster but looking to get promoted. Or if you're at your place of work and you mention you're a Toastmaster, make sure you give a speech or two first before you mention that. And folks will ask you to speak. And one of my life mottos is advance others to advance yourself. And that's one of the ways to boost your confidence, by helping people, because we all really feel better when we truly help someone, especially if it's someone we don't know. And if we do know them, that's a plus too, because a lot of people have helped me and still help me nowadays. And it's all because I sought to help out other people first with what I had, because sometimes you just have to start with what you have, because even though I'm an introvert, I like to recharge by having some alone time, I can still be an extrovert at moments like this, on stages, and heck, even being a social butterfly for a good long while and staying in there. So coming from a place of service is one thing. And another thing is, heck, even affirmations. If you're feeling really cocky one day, you can just say, I'm the best in the world at what I do. And if you want to do that, and there's also another thing you can do. Sometimes I like to say, do it now, do it now, do it now, at least 50 times in the morning when I wake up first thing in the morning to get myself charged up. Or I can even just smack your hands together like Zig Ziglar used to do. It'd be like, oh boy, I'm going to go get them today. They are going to be getting all sorts of chocolate motivation today from the DB himself, the brightest man on the planet, baby. They're going to get it. And just really sucking yourself up first and coming from a place of service is really where that magic happens, because in order to motivate others, you have to motivate yourself.
And so one of the things that I know about elite speakers is that they love to read. Elite speakers love to read everything that's around them, even the subjects that they may not find interesting. What inspired you to be an avid reader, to really dive into readings from all over the globe and different genres of reading? And how has that helped you to become and maintain your high level of energy as a speaker and a leader in the field of talking?
Yeah. Funny enough, my first ever life coach, he actually recommended I read 300 books over a period of time as I'm actually getting out there to speak. And the love for reading that eventually led me to him and Toastmasters was because of the third piece of that three-prong attack back in 2012, that paradigm shift moment, where I also had a meeting with my boss a month after the car accident where the personal life showed up in the professional life. And I was screwing up in certain areas. There's some miscommunication issues. And she mentioned how there were some folks that were going to be coming in, some students, some new hires. And I was 5 years at the public library at that time. And I was going to be looked at as a leader by default because I was there for a long time compared to other folks. And they were going to be asking me for assistance and advice. And subconsciously, that actually triggered something because I actually went into the leadership section of the library, picked up a book by John Maxwell, and then read a bunch of his books. My favorite from him, or at least one of them, I'd say it's my third favorite, would be Thinking for a Change. Thinking for a Change by John Maxwell is one of my favorite books from him. It's my top 3 because it helped me to become a better thinker, and it really helped me to ask myself more questions. And it eventually led me down the rabbit hole of personal and professional development, going into different books by different authors in the areas of psychology, motivation, sales, negotiation, some biographies as well. Like Elon Musk, his biography is amazing. Like also Shoe Dog, the Phil Knight biography, definitely a great biography. Heck, even Georges St. Pierre, The Way of the Fight, that is also another great biography. Because even in the introduction himself, he mentioned how he was seeking to write one of the best books of all time. Now, it's not in my top 10, it's in my top 50, I'd say, because he talked about how he had a powerful mentor named Christoph Maddox back in Canada, and he was probably the big cheese or the big dog in the yard at the time, and he trained under him. And George's he still had hair. He wasn't bald back then. He had blue eyes and everything. And his mentor actually put him in with tougher guys to fight. And after a while, Georges got so good that he started beating those guys. And all because he had a mentor that believed in him. Because if one good person sees something good in you, you can run for a lifetime. And if you can pick that up from somebody who's packaged their expertise in a small, low-cost, valuable package and implement it into your life, then that's really how you're going to grow explosively in life, by reading to lead and putting yourself in action to get as much as you can, and not even giving back in the process.
Yeah, I love, there's this quote by Dr. Wayne Dyer that says, if you change the way you look at things, the things that you look at will change. What does change mean to you? And what does that statement that Dr. Dyer says mean to you as a speaker and in the world that we're actually living in?
Ah, yes, change. Yeah, that's right. Change you can believe in, as some remember back from 2008. But yeah, change we can definitely believe in happens when we just start to take action. Intentional action, no less, because that's really a higher level, especially if it's not only intentional, but massive at one thing. Because one of the things that really helped me in my life was not only taking on a coach and also being able to write a book, was also implementing what others have put into practice in my own life. And those practices led to 6 other people being inspired to write books of their own and joining, as I like to call, the business of immortality. Because if you write a book and you publish it, you're basically leaving a piece of yourself that'll be here long after you're gone. So we're really the source of all the change that we want to make happen for ourselves in life. It has to start with ourselves, because if we're really going to want to see change in the world, we have to start with ourselves. Like if you want people to hold doors for you more often, you got to start holding doors for other people.
I love it. The business, what did you call it again? The business of what?
Immortality.
Immortality. So speaking of business and talking about your best-selling books, Stay the Course, Elite Performance, 7 Secrets, talk to me about the books. What was the inspiration with the books, of writing the books? And then what should my listeners receive from reading these books? Once they close the book, what are some things that they should be doing immediately? Or what are some things should be happening to them as they're reading those books that you've written?
Yes. One of the things about my books, they're short. So if you don't have a lot of time or you have a low attention span, you'll love them. Each chapter, probably like 1 to 3 pages. So you'll basically...
And why did you choose to write them so short?
Well, for one, the first book, Going North, that was written on a dare from a buddy at a Toastmasters conference. I had a year to do it. And I didn't know what the heck I was doing. I just wanted to get it done. So I basically put all I had to a good 65 pages, got that out. And then the follow-up book, Stay the Course, that happened after dealing with some imposter syndrome after starting a podcast after losing my father and realizing that, hey, I'm talking with all these wonderful people here, and I promised people that there was going to be a second book to follow up from the first book. So the first book, Going North, written on the dare, it's all about creating a positive mental attitude, knowing that life is customer service, because it truly is. And there's a powerful story in there about Magic Johnson that really illustrates that point. And also the fact that life can be incomplete yet immaculate, because we're all imperfect beings, but we can still be perfect with that fact if you live with that fact and actually really look at the bright side of it. Because if you're not perfect, that means there's still work to do, and you can still work on yourself and stay the course with the Elite Performer 7 Secret Keys. After you get that positive attitude, after you get that job promotion or take that one step closer to starting your own business, you'll get the magical keys, the 7 keys I've learned from living my own life, listening to other people, interviewing over 250 authors, gaining from them into a nice small package to really find out what the keys are. And one of the major keys from that book will be gratitude, because we should never hesitate to show gratitude no matter what is going on in life. Like, even though there's still some darn pain happening and people are in pain, you still got to be grateful that you're still alive to witness it, and that you have an opportunity to possibly help in a small way, because you can never neglect small beginnings. We all have small beginnings. Now, granted, if you're a trust fund baby, your smaller beginning is a bigger beginning, but that's a whole different situation. Mm-hmm. So really, just the fact that people have low attention spans, folks want to get content straight from it, and they hate fluff, because like I've read books before where it was 120 pages, but the main idea and everything else, it could have been done in 30 pages. So that's the main reason. Just want to give it to them straight. People don't have time to waste nowadays and just want to give it to them straight.
And I want to encourage you to check out his books. My producer went through several of them and really helped me prepare for the show. Now, I also know that you have a podcast, Going North. Why the title Going North? And who are some of the people, or what are some of the types of people that you bring onto your show?
Yes, thanks a bunch for asking, man. Appreciate you. Hopefully have you on the show too to return the favor.
Hey, we're gonna make that happen, bro.
That's right. Make it happen like Captain Crunch, right?
Indeed. Oh,
But yeah, the podcast actually stemmed from the title of my first book, which stemmed from a joke, because I'm pretty sure someone's asked you before, how's it going? And folks may say, good, great, fabulous. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to take this literal. I'm going to say I'm going north. And then it was all about really upward motion, upward mobility, encouraging others to embrace their dreams while I'm seeking to embrace my own. And to make it bigger than about me, I interview a different author every week, and every Monday and Thursday, a new episode goes live. And the authors I bring on, they're local authors from the Baltimore, Maryland area who may have published their first book and they're not too comfortable with promoting themselves yet, all the way to folks who've created multi-million-dollar businesses. Like, it's from top to bottom. It's a diverse group. And the main idea of the show is to help others realize that success is tangible. You too can publish a book. You can start a business. You can do something in your life positive, and it can happen for you because these folks have done it before. I'm learning from them, and listeners are learning from them. And heck, even one of my guys, I got to shout him out, Stanley McCloskey. He's actually going to be on my show in a couple weeks, depending on whenever this comes out. And he actually mentioned how the stuff he got from the podcast has been just as good as some of the stuff he's paid for in the past, because it's some people who have so much great content that really are delivering just great stuff that folks can really take home. Heck, even one of the best tips from one of my past guests is from a guy by the name of Dr. Ray Charles in his episode 221 on the Righteous Leadership, where he mentioned how he has a global mindset, because a lot of his friends, as he was in his 40s at the time, was committing suicide. And he had a background in risk management and risk assessment on top of biochemical engineering and a bunch of other stuff that he does. Guy's brilliant. And he found out that the time issue was one of the issues. So he has folks in China that he can contact, leaders in China that he can connect with, folks in Africa that he can connect with, where if it's 3 a.m, he may not be able to call somebody in America where they may be thinking the worst, as opposed to somewhere out in China or Australia where he can talk to them and just talk it out with them as opposed to calling someone else and thinking for the worst. So being able to use the advantage that we have now with the internet to connect with other people and have a global mindset with this small, big world of the internet to connect with other wonderful people. And that's just one of the thousands of tips you can pick up from the show, because it's 320 episodes so far.
Well, Dominique, you're doing a lot of amazing things. How can my listeners get in contact with you, and how can they get a copy of your book? And if they want to check out your amazing podcast, Going North, how can they check that out as well?
My man, the good doctor, thank you so much, man. Appreciate you. Folks can head over to dombrightmon.com, dombrightmon.com. If you head over to that site, you'll see stuff about me, the books, the podcast itself, and there's also a free gift for the listeners of the Sound Ballman Show, baby.
We like freebies, but ain't nothing free. You got to work for it.
Yeah, exactly. Just leave your email. That's the only work you got to leave behind. Just type in first name, put your email in there. The free PDF is all yours. 21 lessons learned from 2+ years of podcasting. Where if you want to start a podcast, or you have a podcast of your own, you want to get some tips on how to market it or start it, what to do while you're doing your show, this is definitely an ebook for you to pick up, and that's on dombrightmon.com.
Dom, what impact do you want to have on the world?
My impact on the world is that I want to inspire people to really leave something of themselves long after they're gone. I think I want to have 100 people enter the business of immortality. So far, to my knowledge, 6 have been inspired. They published their own books, and they're now doing their own things. About 94 to go. And hopefully the end game is to have a library of my own to actually house every single guest book into that library that have been on my show. So that's really the impact I want to leave in the world. Something for folks to really tap into and realize that success is tangible.
Well, you heard it right here on Sound Bombing. Dominique Brightmon joining me in the bomb shelter. Dominique, this has been amazing talking to you, but do not leave. The second part of the show is my favorite part of the show. It's called the Super Bomb Questions, and it's brought to you by Mountain Made. Now, I'm going to ask you some questions, and I need you to respond super quickly. You ready?
Like Freddie.
All right, let's go. When you're ready, you ain't got to get ready. So first question is, what's your favorite word?
Favorite word's immaculate.
What's your favorite quote?
My favorite quote is to be the man. Woo! You got to beat the man by Ric Flair.
What's your superpower?
My superpower is positive attitude.
What's your spirit animal?
Spirit animal, I would have to say that would be a kangaroo. I like to jump and kick.
What do you wish you had more time to do?
Wish I had more time to do. I'd have to say play video games.
What moves you to tears of joy?
Oh, man, tears of joy. That would be when my mom was still alive, has a good day, a good healthy day where she has no medical issues. That's definitely a good day.
What moves you to tears of sorrow?
Tears of sorrow, that would be if something bad happened, like losing a loved one, or possibly some injustice happens. Like this year has definitely been one of those years.
What is the book or books you've given most as a gift, and why?
I'd have to say The War of Art by Stephen Pressfield. That's the one I've given out the most. That's definitely the one. The War of Art by Stephen Pressfield.
What is the best or most worthwhile investment you've ever made?
Wow, the best investment I made was in the coaching. I probably would have never gotten to this point without it, to be honest, at least this quickly.
If you were in a Mr. America talent competition, Dominique Brightmon, what would your talent be?
My talent would be dad jokes.
Love it. You got a dad joke? Hit us with one right now.
Yeah. So it was 420, and a bunch of potheads smoked me for my knowledge because I was a tree once, and I woke up as a black guy.
There you have it, the host of Going North, Dominique Brightmon, holding it down in the bomb shelter with me today. Brother, it was a pleasure hanging out with you, man. Thanks for joining me. I know you have a busy schedule, so thanks for joining me today.
You the man, doctor. You the man.
So I also want to thank my engineer, Alexander Blanc, my super duper producer, Nicole Klimpaka, Supremacy for our theme music, and all of you for listening. Thank you for your comments. Leave a comment if you have not. Check me out at drdlds.com. Stop being stingy and share me with all of your friends. And as always, believe that something wonderful is about to happen. But some people miss the message because they're too busy looking for the mess. Thanks for tuning in, and you go and do something for someone other than yourself today. You've been listening to Sound Bombing. Peace, Dom. Thank you.
Woohoo! Thank you.
The Super Balm questions are brought to you by Mountain Made CBD. Mountain Made is changing the CBD game by offering a line of high-dose CBD tablets at an affordable price. Their products are THC-free and third-party tested for accuracy, cleanliness, and potency. Their products, which ship nationwide, include Build for CBD saturation, Boost for precision titration, and Recover for rest and rehab. With 9 years experience in hemp and fitness, Mountain Made's founders are focused on creating a quality product to help those who live an activated lifestyle. Check out mountainmade.life. Again, that's mountainmade.life to find out more about how their products can help you crush life. Remember, their products ship nationwide. Go check out their website today and follow them on social media at Mountain Made. That's the @MNTMADE. Our staff at Sound Bombing uses Build before a morning workout, which helps to push our bodies to a whole new level on a daily basis. Try Build, try Boost, try Recover. Our staff is using these products to enhance our active lifestyle naturally, and we are crushing life with Mountain Made CBD, and you can too. Start today by going to mountainmade.life and ordering Build, Boost, Recover, or the multitude of other products that they have which will enhance your lifestyle. I promise you, you won't regret it.